tour. We are really excited for everybody to be on this morning. My name is Scott Buchholz. I am your host for the property tour.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Scott will be right back. We're going to get started shortly. I'm Anna, and this is Roy. We're featuring our property up in northern Minnesota today, a resort. So we're glad you're here. Go ahead and put in the chat where you're from. We always like to see where everyone is tuning in from.
Maryland, Michigan, Florida. Welcome, everybody. Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Awesome.
Wow. People coming from all over.
Virginia,
Memphis.
Houston.
Minnesota in the house.
Seattle. Kansas City.
New York City. That's where we had our first date. Welcome.
Delaware.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Chicago's in the house.
Kentucky.
Wow, yeah. A lot of people from Chicago, New York, Kansas City. Welcome, welcome. Morning, Keith. How are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I don't know why I'm having such technical issues with my phone today. I apologize to everybody. But as we're into this property tour, I don't want to take any more time out. I'd love to bring Roy and Anna out. Roy and Anna are doing some amazing things in our community. They're not only community members and fellow investors, but I consider them good friends. And I just love these two people. They're just so amazing. They're so giving, and they have such a pay it forward mindset. And I just love it. And I absolutely love it. And so, Roy and Anna, to kick off, we're going to have people on today, guests, maybe some new folks that have joined our community that never have been on a tour that you guys have been on. It's been about 3 months, I think, since you guys have been out on a tour. So we're going to have a lot of new folks on today that don't know who you guys are, don't know a little bit of your backstory, because I think it's always really neat to share the backstory, your previous life. So it'll resonate with people, because you guys are just normal people, like anybody else on today. And you guys saw the opportunity to become investors, and you took the lead. You found our community. So can you talk a little bit about kind of what your background was, how you decided to get into investing, and then the biggest thing, I really want to elaborate on this, is why the community that I'm in, you're in, that all of us are in, why you get a part of this community. So go ahead, Roy and Anna, take it.
Thanks so much, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. We really appreciate you and how you put this events together to showcase the possibility for everyone. So like Scott mentioned, my name is Roy and my beautiful wife, Hannah. I was born and raised in Uganda, which is in East Africa. And I grew up with entrepreneurial parents, especially my mother. My dad was more into politics. And so
Roy, you're a little blurred. We can barely hear you. You're slurring.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can, yes, sir.
Perfect. Yeah, like I was mentioning, my name is Roy. I was born and raised in Uganda, which is in East Africa. And I started exploring real estate investing way back in Uganda, the 2000s, when I graduated from college. But it wasn't really streamlined. It wasn't a formal business then. And so I had a hard time finding mentors to help me learn how to invest in real estate. Fast forward 2012, when I moved to the US to do some film work. That was my background. I was a journalist and production manager. I started exploring real estate again in the US. And people told me, oh, you should get a license. And other people told me, well, most people don't really know what it takes to be an investor. So I explored YouTube and podcasts. I bought a bunch of products to help me learn, but I didn't have a community to help me and support me. But then when we got married, my wife was born and raised in Minnesota, so she'll share a little bit about that. But when we got married, I was trying to figure out how real estate investing works from one strategy that I learned, that I bought. And then they just made it hard for you to understand, so you could buy more stuff, right? And then anyway, through our film business, that's how we landed on this community, because we were hired to film their events. And when we heard what they were talking about, we're like, well, this is what we've been looking for. And that was about 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago. We saw the value, we jumped on board, started taking our classes. Shortly after joining, literally about a month into joining, we found our first flip. We started out helping people manage their flips. Then we started flipping our own houses. Then we transitioned into short-term rentals, buying and holding. And of course, the most recent project is this resort that we'll talk about. Then we actually have a flip that we did in Uganda recently. So yeah, my wife will share a little bit about her background. She is a professor at the U. She has recently resigned from that job. So she'll share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just, so thankful. I remember our first attending these property tours starting 4 years ago. We did not own a house. Just, what they never tell you when you get your PhD and become a professor is you'll never be poor, but you'll never be rich. And that left us in the predicament a lot of people are in, which is just living kind of paycheck to paycheck, not knowing how to secure our financial future. So we believe wholeheartedly real estate investing is such a great opportunity. We are glad we made the decision to get started, make it day one versus, keep saying someday. I remember when Roy was just looking for a path, and I was not excited about him becoming a real estate agent because we had just gotten married. I'm like, you'll never be here. Like I have family members who are realtors, and they're always showing houses on the weekends. So we do this for the freedom of our time, and so that we can then invest in our community, be those impact investors. So anyways, we're excited to share this deal with you today. Like Roy said, I think in the last year and a half, we've set up a lot of short-term rentals now. We have some properties that are bringing in about $90K in revenue a year. And we're excited to add this gem to our portfolio.
And Roy, if I could ask you a question, it's kind of neat to share. So obviously this strategy that you're talking about today is kind of like short-term rentals on steroids. I mean, you guys have got a resort, and you're going to talk about all the different income streams that you can produce from this property, like immediately, next year, the year after, which is so exciting about what you're doing. But could you share a little bit about, you mentioned flips. What are some of the investing strategies you guys have shared in so far and been a part of?
Yeah, our last fix and flip was we bought it in October 2020 and sold it in February 2021. So it was a 4-month project, start to finish, and we made good money on that, $50K, right, in 4 months. The deal actually came to us through the community. It was that deal, though, we were like, what if we had the knowledge to learn like how to hold that? Because we saw within just months how much it appreciated. And so that's when we kind of said, okay, let's take a step back. What's our 10-year plan? Mark Kohler, he's a great mentor of ours in the community, but he talks about having that 10-year plan and then reverse engineering it. So from there, we decided to take our current where we were living and launch that as a short-term rental. And so we got a HELOC and we went and bought another property. And that kind of started our journey as doing buy and hold as short-term rentals. We also have a traditional rental, but our exit strategy on that one is more similar to a lease option. And so our tenants are paying us to have the option to become the homeowners on that.
So essentially, we've done buy and hold, we've done fix and flips. We, community members, we've participated in a wholesale, and we actually are doing an international fix and flip as well in Uganda, unseen. It's just by pictures, connect the resources together. Yeah, so then this is considered commercial. So we're in commercial realm at this point in the resort.
That's amazing. Well, so let's kind of dive into this deal. It's always interesting. I know you guys had a plan. This was part of your goal, 5-10-year plan is to find something like this resort. And so it wasn't like you guys just picked up the paper one day or somebody was talking to you, go, hey, I know about a resort for sale. You had a plan and you were wanting to literally execute at that. And so you were looking to do this type of strategy. So can you talk a little bit about how you went about it, how you found it, how you were able to negotiate the deal, that type of thing? So everybody could kind of, because, let's just be honest, everybody. I mean, there's a lot of people on today, okay? And maybe 7 years ago or 6 years ago or 8 years ago, I might have thought, oh, that's unrealistic. I can never own a resort, because we only know what we know, and that's true through our whole lives. But until I got a part of this community, and I say it, and I know you guys feel the same way as I do, if I only knew what I know now 7, 8 years ago or 12 years ago, oh my gosh. So there's folks on today that are probably going, this is really cool. This is awesome. Great job. Love making all this money, but I don't see how I could ever do it. So could you talk maybe a little bit to that? I think it would be nice.
Yeah, I think for us, it started out like realizing, what do we want? I think we all get really good at saying what we don't want. I was really good at saying, I don't want to keep going to work. Well, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And then, okay, how do we reverse engineer that? Whenever you want to achieve a goal, you need to assess what are the resources I need to get there. We knew we needed money. We needed to learn how to find deals. We didn't want to pay full price. We needed to expand our network, right? People who have skills and resources that we don't personally have. And so it starts by getting competent. You cannot fake it till you make it in this business. And so we got competent at raising private capital. We got working with lenders, private lenders, people who want to make more with their retirement funds. Mm-hmm. And the next step for us was a partnership. Okay, when I think of using other people's money, the hierarchy of what's been easier for us is lenders, partners, and then raising investment funds, investors. So yeah. We've gotten good at raising money.
Yeah, it's really what we've learned from the classes, right? Like you start out to secure the investment, people's money that you've borrowed. And so the partners we have is not that it just happened out of the blue. It's just people that have watched us succeed, people that have lent us money before and we've performed and paid them back. And then they're able to step it up. Right? And trust us with more. Exactly. So that's really how it's happened. It's been one step in front of the other, but also us really knowing the different strategies and deciding at this point, we want to step it up to a different strategy because we've explored this. We like this part of it about it, but then to get to our goal, we need to step into other strategies. And, so it's really been one step in front of the other.
And if I could just kind of close this question on one piece of advice is be aware if you have shiny object syndrome. I think as people who are entrepreneur minded, it's easy to get distracted. And so once you know what you want, you need to stay really focused. So it was not easy for us to turn down fix and flips or other opportunities, but stay focused. Scott, any other questions? Otherwise, I think we'll start the tour.
No. So you found this deal, and there was some negotiation involved, right?
Yeah. So it was March of last year. One of our private lenders, we had proposed buying a duplex with them. The duplex needed a lot of work. And we kind of had a, let's be really honest with each other talk of like, is this something we're really excited about, or are we just doing another deal? So that started the journey of, okay, let's make this resort thing happen. And so we started driving all over Minnesota. We used Wisconsin. We used a software program that our community has to set up a search. We were looking for people with tax delinquencies that owned large acreage, waterfront, etc. Started searching the MLS. So this property was on the market. We did not have a realtor represent us. Essentially, we did dual agency with the goal of, you know, saving the seller some money that way and making our offer more attractive. Mm-hmm. And so we saw a video of this place and wanted to put it under contract that same day. And they said, no, you have to come look at it first. So we got in the car and came that very next day and had it under contract. And we'll share the numbers, but we did get it under market value. And so we have Roy and I are partners. We have one other couple that are partners, and they brought half the money and brought another private lender. And why they wanted to partner with us, again, they've seen our ability to manage short-term rentals, set them up, find contractors, and respect our depth of understanding of real estate. So.
Yeah, and they've lent us money before we paid them back. So really, track record, really, that's where it came down to, trust and track record and credibility as well.
Awesome. So kind of lay out a little bit about this, about the resort, about the cabins and the lodge and some of the stuff.
Yeah, so there's a total of 9 acres of land. 4 of those are developed, and that's where the cabins sit. So it's 700 feet of shoreline property, and there are 9 cabins. And then this house that we're in is 3,000 square feet. All the cabins are 3 bedrooms, except one of them for rent is a 2-bedroom. And then we have a lodge, which is like a gathering space. And so total of the house and the cabins, and then we've started adding other things to the business. So when we bought the property, it came with a pontoon boat and 4 fishing boats. We just added a wood-fired hot tub right on the lake. And then it also came with 5 acres of land across the street that are permitted for 3 RV sites. We don't quite know what we're going to do with that land yet. We're hoping to build like yurts or something where snowmobilers can come in the winter.
That'd be nice.
So Roy's going to walk to the cabins and I'll show the house. Everything we're going to show you right now is based on operating this in summer and early fall. That was really something we made clear, is that we did not want a year-round full-time job running a resort. It was attractive to us to, you know, do 4 months and then travel the world. So the numbers we share today and everything are based on that us wanting to travel. So
Okay.
I will house. So I'm gonna turn this audio off.
So Michael Jones has a really good question, Anna, and I know you and Roy both talked a little bit about it, but you know, his question is, how did you find your lending partners, your private investors and that type of thing? And I get that question almost daily, because when I do my deals, I use other people's money. And I don't consider them just lenders. They're really partners in what I'm doing in my business, in my new construction, my flips, whatever it might be, my rental properties. So how do you find those people? How do you learn to have that conversation?
I could answer that.
Okay.
I don't know if man is busy. Yeah, so it's really an art of how the conversations you have, but it's really, we've taken classes that have actually opened our minds to how to have these conversations on a daily basis, right? There's people that have reached out to us from Facebook because of what they've seen us do, right? And they've asked if they could partner with us. Then because we've taken these classes, you know how to guide that conversation, because part of your responsibility as an investor is how do you protect your partners, your investors. So it's really, there is some technicality to raising money. There is ways to do it and ways not to do it. So when you take the time to get knowledgeable, you will know how to have those conversations that make sense, that protect, and also make sure that the people that invest with you are protected. So it's really a daily thing that we are proactive about having these conversations always. You just never know when somebody's ready and willing to invest with you. An example is we had guests over last weekend, and I happened to go to grade school with one of them, and they are potential investors and partners with us from the conversations we had. So it's really, you always have these conversations with people, and at the right time, somebody might, be at that point in time where they want to invest with you. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes. Oh yeah, that was really good, Roy. So what are you showing us now? What is this building here? Is this a cabin or is it the house?
So this building is the lodge. It's the common area. And then I'll show you guys what the house looks like from the outside.
Oh my gosh, that is
house,
absolutely beautiful.
From the main house, from the outside, sorry. So that's the lodge. I'll show you real quick what the lodge looks like. That was originally, there was a bunch of arcade games in there. But then as partners, we decided, you know what? We will turn that into a hangout area, have some board games. We have a table tennis table that's ready to get set up. So the reason we set it up that way is so to encourage people to get off of, video games and stuff and just enjoy the lake, and every now and then get inside and play some games. So that's what the lodge looks like right now.
Yeah, and our goal is to be able to hold retreats here. So this is a space that we can, put round tables and, for people to mastermind.
And there is a kitchen in there. There is a fireplace. So Anna did a great job with the design, as well as our other partner, just having different spaces where people can, chat or play some games and all that. So that's the lodge. I'll head over to the cabins.
Yeah, and so in that lodge, there's 2 office spaces that we have converted to bedrooms so that can also be rented out in the winter for snowmobilers. I'll show you. So we're on the deck of the owner's home. The resort is near Walker, Minnesota, so about 3 hours from the Twin Cities. So this is the home, and this is rented out for about $5,000 a week in the summer. It's rented full for the summer with the exception of 2 weeks. And so it's got 4 bedrooms and a sleeping loft. So there's a bedroom. Yep, so about 5,000. It's a little over, maybe closer to 5,500 for a week in the summer in the prime season. So in here, I'll show you before pictures, but we basically replaced all the flooring. We did some painting, and then the bulk of our money went into just furniture. I think all in, you know, we remodeled and furnished for about $30K. And then you can see the view from up here. This fireplace had fake stone on it that was falling off. So we actually met someone from the community up here at Ace Hardware, and he came and did all that work on the fireplace. So, and then this is a sleeping loft. So it's got 3 full-size beds. It's absolutely one of the favorite spaces for kids. For that reason, we made sure to bring the railings up to code. All those things. And then it's got 3 master bedrooms. You can see we changed lighting. Lighting goes a really long ways. The other project in here was the bathroom. We kept the vanity, but put in a new shower, and then we put in these wood walls and the wood ceiling. The ceiling was super ugly. The wood was super fast. So I'm all about, you know, kind of a more upscale looking design for the kind of the fastest and least amount of money. So this is the other master bedroom. So we have all king size beds except the loft, which is key. People will book faster if there's king size beds. This is the attached bathroom here, which comes with a washer and dryer for their own use. So that's basically this house. There is also a basement. I'll take you in quickly. So this got all new flooring. Furniture we picked up from Facebook. We've been able to find some accounts where we have wholesale accounts to get furnishings for less money. In here we did a king size bed and another full size bed. And then there's a full bathroom. So you can see we have, you know, essentially 5 sleeping zones with 3 bathrooms. You know, I think this house alone is probably worth close to $900,000 or more, probably over $1 million actually. We'll look at some comps. But we didn't pay that, and that's what we like, deals. So, Roy,
awesome.
you want to take over and show them the cabin?
Okay, can you hear me? Can you see my video?
We can't see your video yet. We can hear you.
And I will pin my video. Would you pin my video, please?
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Or I could also share.
You're good, Roy.
There you go. We see you, Roy. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't see what's on my screen, but all right, so I'm giving you a perspective of where the cabins are. You can see the main house through the trees, correct?
Yep, we can see.
Awesome.
You're coming in clear.
Can you see me? Can you still see my screen?
Well, we're seeing a computer screen now.
Oops. Okay. Sorry about that. Technology is getting better of me. So can you see? One sec.
We can see the cabin.
Okay, great. Let's just. Yeah. I kind of messed up my screen, but as long as you can see the screen and you can hear me. Okay, so this is cabin 1. I'll just show you a little bit of the lake, and then I'll get in there. Like I was mentioning to Scott, we just had a couple of gentlemen that were here fishing. They left this morning, early morning. So I'll just show you guys. We redid the countertops in this kitchen, the sink we replaced. We did some paneling.
Roy, can you hold on one sec? Are you sharing your screen?
I
can see it.
Yeah, stop
I
sharing.
can see
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
Now we're good. Okay.
There you go. We got you.
You got me? Can
We
you
got
see
you,
all?
Roy.
You're
Perfect.
good now.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so this the kitchen, amazing rugs that Anna found online. Then we replaced the countertops with butcher block, stocked the shelves, the kitchenware, and all that. And these are custom made. The other cool thing about our partners is one of them is very handy. So he built these couches, custom built these couches. So that's really cool. So that's the living.
We built those couches because they're actually twin size beds. So now we've taken occupancy in the cabin from 6 people up to 8 people.
Very nice.
And as you can see, you're pretty much off the water. You wake up to a cup of coffee and you're right off the water right there. So, and then, yeah, we have a furnace, which is a good thing for the cooler weather. Of course, we want this during the winter. We might explore that in the future, but for now, we want to extend maybe spring into fall. But for the most part, like I said, the beds aren't made for him because we had guests check out, so you get the real deal. So yeah, we have a furnace, we have an AC, so we can extend the seasons a little. So yeah, that's the twin bedroom, as you can see.
Now we had someone ask earlier about, are you guys managing this now, or do you actually have a property manager, and is your goal to ultimately have a manager?
Yeah, so right now we're managing it. So for managing it, that's why we have 70% of the profit. Part of that though is building a team, right? So we have cleaners, we have someone doing the laundry, right? So when you think of management, know that doesn't mean you have to do all the work. We get to pick and choose because we have other businesses we are running from up here at the same time. So it's always about knowing the value of your time. You want to be in a position where you get to pick and choose what you do. For example, like we actually really enjoy yard work. We like to be outside and moving. So we're going to do that. If we want to hire someone, we certainly can do that.
Yeah. I'll show you guys at the point a little bit of the lake. This is one of our cool spots, hangout spots, the fire pit. And pretty much get a good view of the lake. So that's the fire pit, that's all the lake, that's all the toys. And do you want me to
absolutely beautiful, guys. Gosh, that's gorgeous.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You wouldn't be able to wouldn't be able to build these cabins this close to the water these days. Certainly grandfathered in.
Yeah, right off the water. And a very beautiful, clear lake, very quiet. It's not crazy busy. Of course, we're in the land of 10,000 lakes, but some of those lakes are so busy. So our guests really love how nice and quiet it is and family friendly. So do you want me to show cabin 2 as well, or is that good?
I think, is there a completely different theme or something? I mean, obviously, I think everybody got a visualization of the amazing job that you did on staging and getting it all decorated and updating it and things like that. So I'm not sure that's super necessary, obviously. Yeah. You guys have referred to guests a few times. One of the neat things that I remember you sharing before is that a lot of your bookings are from previous customers.
That's correct.
So,
I can talk more about that.
Yeah, and so you probably have people already that book like on a yearly basis, like they come back every year, right?
They do. Yep. They're very protective to make sure they get their same week. So right now we are 100% booked from June 17th to late August, with the exception of we have 2 weeks in the house open and we have one cabin available for 1 week. And so that's, we operate in prime season and then off peak season. And so now we're working to fill the off season. They were never open beyond the third week of August. So it'll take some time to build that. I've been focusing my time on connecting people who do retreats. And then we'll decide in the future if we want to host weddings. So if we look at kind of, let me show the before pictures a little bit too.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to show before pictures. So as you're going to that real quick, a couple quick questions here. Question, how long have you owned the property? You guys just acquired it last year, correct?
Yeah, so we acquired it in September, and that fall, so in like 5 weeks, we remodeled 5 of the cabins. And then so December and January, we remodeled the house. And then I started attacking the last cabins around March and April. And so we had everything listed on Airbnb and Vrbo by the February or the end of February. But like Scott mentioned, most of our business has been repeat customers. So here's the house. You can see that fireplace, getting rid of the carpet, changing lighting, and then furnishing it. And then the kitchen, again, we found someone who mills wood floors. And so we just put that throughout the house and the cabins. So this is what I would call just a cosmetic fixes, right? There was nothing structural, no major rehabs involved. Same thing with the cabins. They were really, there's the fix and flip cosmetic versus rehab. And so just brightening them up. We did put in all new showers. A lot of the showers had holes in them and had to take care of some mold that was growing because of that. But you can see like they just really needed to be modernized. People rent because they love the lake, but no one's going to complain about an updated space.
Absolutely. Well, one of the quick questions here is, well, let's see if we can throw this one out to you, because this is an important question, no matter if you're buying a resort or if you're buying a house to flip or keep for a rental property. Why was the seller selling the property? Because that's one thing that we learn through our classes is, always find out why the seller is selling.
Yeah, and I think that's really important when you're buying off market, right? But this was on the MLS. He was a retired farmer, had too much money, didn't know what to do with it. And so it was a dream of his to own this. And that dream he was tired of that. So that's why he was selling. He bought it in 08 for $1.4 million, and he built the lodge and bought the 5 acres and built a large pole barn. And then we ended up buying it for $1.65 million. So he added a lot of value. And I think he probably sold it a bit under market value based on what cabins are going for on the lake. Oh, you're on mute, Scott.
I said, so what I'm hearing is when you acquired the property, you had equity already at that point.
There is a good amount of equity, yes.
That's before you guys forced equity or forced value
exactly.
by doing all the updates.
Yeah, I mean,
so go ahead, Roy.
A very important part is he wish he could keep it, but his son who was managing it was tired. And also the other factor that helped us was lots of people wanted to finance through the bank, but he wanted cash, right? So not many people, he's tried to sell it before and nobody came through, and thankfully that worked for us. He was like, can we get rid of this? So I'm managing it.
One thing we learned when looking at resorts is that a lot of resort owners have no idea how to do their books. Mm-hmm. They operate out of cash and kind of under the table, but they don't realize they're missing out on a ton of tax benefits. Like Roy and I have learned how to turn our lifestyle into a write-off, right?
Yeah.
This search kind of started with us wanting to own a lake home. So we're like, well, why not have a business out of it, right?
So essentially what happened is because of the way they were operating, they didn't have books to present, good books enough for people to finance through the banks. So then that's where they really wanted a cash buyer.
Absolutely. I think this is a great time to interject a couple things here real quick, guys. I know we've got about 20 minutes left here, 18 minutes. If you're on today and you're a guest and you want to learn more about our community, about the education that Roy and Anna have talked about as far as the classes, the community, and just more about who we are and what we do and how we all collaborate and how we're basically a family. Right after this property tour at 5 after the top of the hour, we do have another Zoom that you can jump on. It's a different link. So get back with who invited you. And it's an overview and it'll expand. Umair will be doing it, I believe, today. And he'll expand on a lot of things that we don't have time to expand on today during this property tour. And one last question before you guys get into numbers and all that. And I think this is really an important question. Someone asked, you were referring multiple times, Roy and Anna, to the classes that, we're all connected, that are part of this community through the education, and we're gaining the same knowledge together. Can you refer to any particular classes that have helped you in your business, maybe specifically this particular deal or any deal that, we've got so many of them. Is there any specific ones without taking up the last 15 minutes, just kind of hit on a few of those?
Yeah, what happens is you build your foundation, right? And then we took classes on fix and flip and rehab because that's what we're doing, right? Well, then we started integrating more, right? Raising private money, partnerships, classes on self-directed IRAs, because most of our private lenders are using their IRA accounts. The commercial real estate, right? Like it's different going out to get insurance on a commercial property. The tax and legal classes. So I could really go on and on. But how we started was just identifying one strategy we wanted to get good at and building from there.
Yeah, and in the education, through the training and the knowledge, there's actually a path that is laid out for us in there. Isn't that correct, Anna? So if you want to do fix and flip, there's literally a path, and it tells us and gives us direction of here's what you need to take in this order. Right?
Yeah. So we did the fix and flip path, right? And the short-term rental, the buy and hold, the business management path. So we have a minimum of about 6 different learning paths that we've applied to this.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So like we said,
what is so cool, guys, and what I'm so proud of you guys about is so many things, but the fact that not only did you dig in and take the classes and gain that knowledge, you actually applied it. And that's powerful. When you apply knowledge, and then as Roy talked about relationships, you add applied knowledge with relationships, would it be safe to say that a lot of doors open, a lot of opportunities come available?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what Roy and I, like, we have a community here in Minnesota, right? We have online meetings, but also local. And so we run our local meeting, and we're so thankful for that opportunity, because when you get together and you hear what someone else is doing, like it motivates us, right? It's like, oh, I can do that. Or, you know, and we just learn from each other's successes and also what to avoid. You know, just last week, someone came to the meeting and was trying to refi and hitting some roadblocks, and we mastermind on that and help each other find solutions. So it's really authentic, and we learn from being on this every single week. So
awesome. You want to jump into some numbers here as we get close to the top of the hour?
Yeah. So like I said, we acquired this property for $1.65 million. And that was with cash, not our own cash, but it did take money, right? I want to just share one comp in the area. There's not a lot that comes for sale on this lake. It is the second clearest lake in the state. But here is a property, a comp that is a 2-bedroom with a partial bath, 700 square feet. So this is similar to one of our cabins, okay? This is on 0.8 acres, right? So multiply that by about 10, and it's listed for $450,000. So you can see
that. Is this cabin right on the lake like yours, like river, like?
It's yeah, it is. It's, you know, it's further back. We actually canoed past it last night. You can see it kind of sits back a little, but it is a lakefront property. There it is. So that is going for right close to $500,000. So in our minds, we're thinking always exit strategies. We want at least 3 of them. So one of our exit strategies someday is to sell or finance this to someone, our portion. Another exit strategy is to divide up and make each cabin its own plot that we can sell off. So a couple different exit strategies there. And
I know earlier on you referred to the other 5 acres you have. Is that correct? That you can do a lot of things with, and there could be additional income stream there. You've already talked about, you know, potentially weddings, retreats, anniversaries, reunion. There's so many things that you guys can do with this, but that other additional land.
Right. So for year 1, like we already have secured about $210,000 in revenue. So that's basically June, beginning of June to August. So 3 months, this is our income. Our mortgage, right? So we have 2 different mortgages essentially. And the total payment for that for the year is $110,000. And then there's expenses, right? So expenses include obviously property taxes, sales taxes, utilities, right? That all adds up, you know, in a big place like this. So our other expenses are about $82,000, and that'll be a pretty much almost a fixed thing. So that brings the net profit to $45K for year 1. Okay. And then Roy and I have a 70% share of that profit. which for year one, again, from June, our projected, I should go projected income by the time we book fall. So we'll book cabins in the fall, and then we are selling gas, boat rentals, added a hot tub that we're renting. So we're projecting our income to be $237 for this first year. And so that puts Roy and I at 31K for this first year. You know, we have other properties that we're making far more with, but they also operate year round. This is, you know, a 4 or 5 month deal for us. Now in year two, we're expecting our projected profit for year two to be closer to $287,000. So we know year one is probably going to be the roughest for us, right? We're taking care of a lot of deferred maintenance, but that if we can hit this target revenue without adding other things, but booking retreats, booking some weddings, that would get Roy and I at a profit of $57K for our 4 to 5 months of work.
Yeah. And of course, one of the classes that we take talks about financial strategies, and it goes into the different quadrants. We're talking about just profit here. We're not even talking about the appreciation that we've gained. We're not talking about the depreciation we get. So this is just straight up profit without talking about all the other benefits of the real estate itself.
We did a quick analysis, like Roy just talked about appreciation, right? We believe the property is now worth $3 million, right? And that's just in 7 to 8 months. And so, yeah, appreciation, we can, you know, pull some of that money out and buy more properties. But then depreciation, like we're beginning to look really poor on paper, right? Because we have so many assets that are lowering our tax liability. So questions about numbers, you know, Scott, I know you talked about revenue streams, kind of things that we have not added to the numbers, but is selling clothing, right? Mm-hmm. Merchandise. You know, we're selling firewood. We're going to be selling furniture. So
essentially
what about rental of snowmobiles and boats?
The boats.
That we haven't even got into that because people are excited about the winter sports.
Oh my God.
We're hoping they book it out of here, but in the winter. But we, you know, we have an agreement that any income brought in off season goes to Roy and I. So basically we can decide if we want to work or hire people to run the property year round. And so that's a potential avenue that we're looking at as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any final questions? Otherwise, I'm looking forward to the next meeting.
No, this has been awesome. I would like to take out the last 5 minutes or so for you guys to kind of share with people as kind of a parting type, you know, recommendation or advice. If you imagining the people that we have on today, there's a lot of people that, you know, I said it earlier, that may look at a deal like this and say, that's something I could never do. And I know that has to be a mindset change because everybody can do something like this. But you also have folks they don't know where to get started and they haven't done their first deal or they're trying to grow their investing business. How would you like to leave everybody today? Roy and Anna, either one can start first.
We talk a lot about consistency, right? And not giving up on yourself. So we consistently take our classes. Why? Because there's, you know, our instructors are so generous in what they share. So we could spend a ton of time trying to come up with our own recipe for success. We don't have that much time. Like, we know we want to retire soon, right? And so it's just, yeah, using your time wisely. So, you know, if you want a multi-million-dollar business, right? We own millions of dollars of real estate now without our own money, then you have to be willing to invest in your own knowledge base.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other one now that I'll share with you, which this comes up a lot with people who come to some people we meet who are like, we're not willing to invest in my knowledge, but I want to do a deal. So then one of the questions we ask them is, are you ready to lose money on that deal that you do? Because you're driving blindly, essentially. So one thing I want to tell people is it's better not to do a deal than to lose money on a deal, right? Because you're doing it blindly, right? But then if you're getting knowledgeable, there is going to be every now and then you'll hit some oops on your journey. But the thing is, you have different strategies. So my encouragement to you is, much as instead of getting fixated on doing a deal without preparing yourself, I encourage you to surround yourself with the right people, invest in yourself, build a good foundation, right? You may not do a deal in the first week or the first month or the first year, but as long as you have a good foundation and you take the time to dig in and get knowledgeable, the deals will find you. So give yourself some grace.
Yeah. Don't quit.
Like our, very well said, Roy, very well said. So like our good friend, Mr. Bob T says, build your well before you're thirsty. Is that what
Absolutely.
you're saying, Roy?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been an amazing tour. We're so honored and privileged you guys took time out, because I know how busy and hectic you are. And I know you said you're getting ready to get crazy through August. So thank you for jumping on. Maybe we'll see if we can get you guys back out in September or something. And maybe when it calms down a little bit. And then, of course, you'll have a full summer under your belt and a full, you know, a good, you know, some good numbers there to share with people that are like, you know, these are not projected. This is what we actually did.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be awesome. And guys, thank you again very much. We appreciate you coming out and sharing. Thank you, everybody on today. Thanks for coming out, taking an hour of your day out. I'd love to see everybody back out next Saturday. We'll be coming to you Salt Lake City, Utah. So pretty excited about that. It's been a little bit since we've been out in the Salt Lake area. And then the week after that, we're going over to North Carolina. So we're going from Minnesota, the North Midwest, out to the west to Salt Lake City, Utah, then all the way back across the country to North Carolina. So and we got Hawaii. We hope we'll be on here soon. We're working with them to get that scheduled. So guys, we appreciate you. Love you guys, Roy and Anna. Thank you.
Praise God, love you. Yes, thank you all for putting this together. Thank you all for getting.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend.